Hello all and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada and I read tarot. Today I'm doing a reading on your May predictions. This is a reading for the month of May 2022. This is going to be a reading that will break down, well, we're going to look at general energies for the month. We have pre-shuffled oracle cards to kind of get the vibe of the month. Get the vibes. But then we'll also be looking into your physical. So that will be your material wealth, your finances, career, or anything to do with your physical world. So things to do with your grounding, your body, etc. Your physical setting. We'll be looking at your emotional, which will be more so about your relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic. Your emotional connections, your emotional state, and we'll be looking at your spiritual or self-development as well. So it'll be divided into three segments within the reading as well. So we've got 4 groups here. We've got group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. You may be attracted to 1, 2, 3, or all of the groups. If that's the case, that's completely fine. Just please be discerning with the messages and use your own intuition as well, because this is a general reading. Now, if you are not attracted to any of the groups and you're noticing that when you're looking at these groups and piles of cards that you're not really being attracted to any of them, please consider that there may not be a message here for you, and it may be best to just click out of this reading. And maybe I'm not a reader for you as well. So do consider that not every reader is for every single person. And when you're watching my readings, make sure that you're connecting with me as a reader, and you're connecting with the messages with your own intuition as well. So with that, let's get into it. If you want to pause the video now and look over the cards and decide which group you are attracted to, you can do so. But I'm going to get started. So we're starting with group number 1. So group number 1, let's get into your reading. I'm just going to put these aside a little bit further up. So let's get into it. Group number 1, let's get into it. So your month of May 2022, let's get into it. Let's see what the general energies are. We've got morning, the world awaits you. We've got meditation to dig deeper, or dig deep, sorry. We have Mercury. I'm kind of getting a lot of deep thoughts, but also connecting to your, looking at your thinking patterns very closely. There's something about you deconstructing your mind. You might journal a lot during May. You may decide to really take a closer look at your thoughts. I'm almost getting a visual. Well, I'm not almost getting a visual. I am getting at. I like to say almost before things all the time. I've noticed that sometimes these readings really make me aware of how I speak. And I love saying almost before things that are actually definite. So, I'm getting a visual of a microscope and someone sitting down with a microscope and looking at their thought patterns and how their thoughts proceed, like how one thought changes into another thought and into another thought under this microscope, and being very delicate with the process. So you might be in that kind of state in the month of May. We've also got wisdom. So maybe you're deriving a lot of wisdom out of this. I'm also getting the number 4 a lot for you. We've got 40 here, 4 and 0 is 4. And then we've got 22, which also adds up to 4, which makes me feel like with the Mercury energy and the mind and the thought process energy, I wonder if you're trying to create a more stable way of observing your thoughts and noticing your thoughts. You might be a life path 4 or life path 22, maybe life path 3. We've got Mercury here with number 3, but I'm getting 4 very strongly. So we've also got cosmic highway. The universe is on your side. Signs, divine guidance, and synchronicity. Yeah, I think there's a lot of. Well, first of all, okay, so let's take that thought process image that we got. So I do feel like a lot of your month will be focused on how you think, what you think, and why you think it. So you may be becoming more aware of certain thought patterns that you used to think were like part of you, or you used to think that something that you used to think about yourself or about life in general was a part of you, or you know that cliche of saying like your thoughts are not you, um your thoughts are not your own. So maybe you're becoming more aware of certain thoughts that are definitely not your own. You're realizing that certain thought patterns are, they haven't come from you. They came from some sort of external, somewhere externally. And that's interesting because I've been thinking about Mercury lately. I've been thinking about all the planets lately, and I've been journaling about planets. And if you haven't checked out my astrology videos, well, I only have one up when I'm recording this, but I might have a second one up by the time I put this up. I'm not sure yet. But or I've been doing a lot of journaling on just planets as their own entities, and journaling about Mercury. I was thinking about how Mercury is responsible for uh absorption, processing, and expulsion of information. So you absorb information, you process it, and you express it, or you express it, I suppose. Yeah. And I've been thinking about how Mercury is this kind of processor in astrology. It's almost like a program within us. And so it does feel like you are very connected to that concept of absorbing, processing, and expressing information. So you might be a little bit more or a little bit less emotional in the month of May. You may feel like not many things can get you to be very emotional. The way that I'm feeling this is things that used to make you emotional are not making you as emotional anymore. Or again, thoughts that used to make you feel very emotional are not making you feel as emotional anymore. And it's not that you're lacking emotion at all. It's just that you're becoming more wise about certain thoughts and thought patterns that you're having. Now, with the cosmic highway here, the universe is on your side, and we've got signs, divine guidance, and synchronicity. You might be noticing certain synchronicities or repeating patterns or repeating cycles in your own thought process as well, with the help of potentially like angel numbers. Maybe you're using certain signs or certain divination to flag these thoughts to you. Like, for example, for me, there's certain numbers or certain synchronicities that I use as my indicator that I'm overthinking something, or that I'm absorbing my thoughts as my own rather than absorbing them rather than observing them. So that's something that you might be doing in the month of May. But there is a more removed attitude to you. It's a little bit more cool. It's a little bit more analyzing. Like, you're analyzing your own thought process. You're analyzing your own tendencies, your habits as well. That's another thing. When I was journaling about Mercury, Mercury rules our habits as well. Because I suppose when we think about it, when we are little, or even when we're older, when we're children, teenagers, the way that we form our habits is by absorbing information. So we're observing someone, whether it be our parents, adults in our life, other children. We're absorbing information. We're absorbing someone's habits that we're perceiving. We're processing those habits. So we're integrating those habits, and then we're expressing those habits, and it's like an external output. So, and that's where I'm not going to make this video about Mercury, because I will be doing a video on Mercury, but The feeling that I'm getting here is that you are very focused on your thought process and how you tend to think and what thoughts tend to stick with you. And you're also really focused on your habits and what habits are maybe are outdated. Maybe you're noticing what habits are yours and not yours. Maybe you're noticing certain habits that you're doing and you're saying to yourself, I'm only doing this habit because my parent used to do this and somehow I absorbed it. So maybe I need to like observe some new habits. Maybe I need to observe someone with like a new structure of habits, or maybe I need to observe habits through doing them myself. So there's a feeling of you teaching yourself new habits, new thinking patterns, etc. So right, I won't repeat myself anymore. I just yeah, that's what I'm getting. And I feel like that's why I'm really being attracted to the level up on this card. If you can see it here, it says level up. It feels like you're leveling up in your habits and your thought process, and you're becoming a lot more wise around it. So that's very nice. So let's look at your physical situation in the month of May. Your career, your finances, your material world. The Tower card in reverse. The Tower card in reverse can talk about restructuring something that you've torn down. So I wonder if in April you spent time tearing down old thinking patterns, old habits. Maybe you spend time tearing down things that you're used to, and now you're ready to restructure. But because this is more of a physical, right? Because this is more of a physical, maybe, I do feel for a lot of you, it's almost more the habit, the habitual side of things. So the Virgo side of Mercury, because the Virgo side of the Virgo side of Mercury is habits. Sixth house is habits. And while like Virgo and sixth house share similarities. So sixth house is habits, routine. So for a lot of you, it's the Virgo side of Mercury. But I'm not saying that the Gemini side of Mercury will not figure here. I think it will for a lot of you. But I feel like for most people in this group, it will be the Virgo side of Mercury, which is habits, habitual thinking, even habitual actions. It's more towards the physical though. And you're restructuring that for yourself. Some of you may decide to, again, it's like maybe you're changing your exercise routine. Maybe you're changing your daily routine so that you can take better care of your health. Some of you might be quitting something like an addiction, or maybe you're quitting like things like smoking or something like that. Or it doesn't have to be smoking, it can be anything. Addictions are not just substances. But it's a physical transformation that you're going through, but I feel like it's almost like the most difficult part of it is over. So that makes me think that in April, a lot of you may have torn down your old habits and decided these habits are not serving me anymore. These habits are not doing anything for me anymore. It's time to change them. Some of you may have, quit a job that you have found that the habit of doing this job or a routine of doing this job was actually stressing you out, or maybe bringing you down. So maybe you are starting a new job, or you're rebuilding your career in some sort of way. But there is that sense of rebuilding something after maybe a stressful period where you had to tear it down. So I wonder if April was pretty stressful for a lot of you. And I feel like, but what I'm seeing is that through this stress, you've almost become more detached. And what I'm noticing with the morning card, it says the world awaits you. So it kind of feels like there's a fresh start. There's a fresh start on a fresh journey for a lot of you. Seventh house. So profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. It's also the house of cooperation, collaboration, and one-to-one. How well do you work with people one-to-one? How well do you interact with people one to one. I wonder if you're moving, if you used to work in a setting where maybe you used to be in a team of people, or maybe you worked alone. You are changing your way of working where you're collaborating with people more in your career. So a lot of you can expect some one to one collaborations in your career rather than working as a team or working on your own. For some of you, this could also indicate that you are going to be getting help with restructuring your physical habits, your physical routine. So maybe there's someone in your life. It could be a partner for some of you. Maybe that's what's happening. You and a partner are deciding to restructure your physical habits. This kind of reminds me of like if you were in a relationship and you habitually were doing certain things almost on autopilot. It's like this couple decides to change things around. It's like, let's change our exercise routines. Let's change our routine through the day. Let's make sure we're better. We're taking better care of our bodies, nutrition. There's an overhaul of sorts that's happening in your physical life, and this could be definitely something that's connected to your career, but also don't that can leak into your physical routines that are in your personal life as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be to do with career specifically. Now, in terms of money and things like that, I do feel like you are rebuilding your savings or something like that, but it's a slow process. It's not like a quick replenishing. It's not a quick replenishing. You're replenishing savings, or you're replenishing investments in some sort of way that is gradual. And again, there's a sense of maybe you were very stressed with your finances last month. Maybe you were very stressed out about your money situation last month. But there's a sense of comfort around this because there's this feeling of detachment. You're not necessarily emotionally you're not like emotionally invested in many things in May. And it's not to say that you're this robotic person or robotic presence in your own life. It just feels like you've learned how to detach, and you've learned how to see things from a more removed perspective, where you are realizing that like just because you have to restructure something in your life, or change your habits, or change your workplace, or change the way that you do certain things, change the way that you save money, it does not mean that you and maybe you have to suffer certain losses while you're restructuring it. It does not mean that these losses are lasting, and it does not mean that you're not going to have long-term rewards in the long run, which you will. But I feel like May is going to be a slow month for you, I think, but it's going to be slow in a way that doesn't feel frustrating and doesn't feel scary. Like you're not scared. You're not scared. You're not worried. I'm not getting anxiety. In fact, I'm getting like a very balanced mind, which is really nice. And I do feel maybe some of you are meditating and journaling, and so that's paying off. You're very there's a minimalistic nature to you, especially in your physical energy. You're kind of quite minimal in your nature in the month of May, but this minimalism it's not like it's forever. You know, you're not just deciding to have a minimalistic life now from now on, or, you know, a super minimalistic lifestyle. It's more that for now you're creating this sense of minimalism, and you're really narrowing options and narrowing things down in order to expand later. So maybe June is going to be your expansion month. So that's kind of what I'm getting from the physical point of view specifically. Now let's look at your emotional life, your relationships, platonic, familial, romantic. The Chariot. Okay, that's there's a lot of aspirations that you're having with your relationships, and you're quite determined and decisive in your relationships, whether they be romantic, platonic, or familial. You again, while the Chariot is ruled by Cancer, and Cancer is an emotionally involved sign, from this card, for some reason, I'm getting more of like, what do I need to do in this relationship in order for this relationship to work? What do I need to do here in this relationship in order to maintain and make sure that it's a relationship that lasts a long time? Again, there is this, you're also assessing your thoughts on your relationships. You're assessing how you think about every single person in your life, maybe even. Maybe you're noticing certain thinking patterns that come up when you're thinking about a certain person. It's like, whenever this person comes to mind, this is the thought process that I have. Why do I have this thought process when this person comes to mind, whether it's positive or negative, or neutral? It's like you're bringing yourself to a place of neutrality in the month of May. You're trying to, not even trying, because I'm not seeing, you're putting in effort, but it's not effort that's difficult, or you have to like do it by the skin of your teeth kind of thing. It's an effort that is enjoyable almost. So maybe you've started establishing certain habits or certain practices. Again, maybe you've established a habit of meditating or journaling in April, and maybe it was hard then, but now that you're moving into May, it's becoming easier and it's becoming natural and it's becoming a part of your natural process. It's like you're naturally inclined towards these habits, and while you're still developing them, you are feeling more in alignment with these habits as you're moving forward. You may travel to see someone. You may travel to meet someone in May, like an important person in your life. You may decide to travel, especially if you're like in a long distance relationship, or they could travel to you. But I'm more so getting you traveling towards someone. But there's a sense of decisiveness. Like, you're not really worried. Something that I'm getting is like, if you ever have people that you maybe don't want to hang around with anymore, but you're not really sure how to like move on from them or distance yourself from them, you are figuring out how to distance yourself from people, but also like communicate it effectively if you need to, or how to structure it so that it's balanced and it's not toxic. There's a very healthy energy to you, group one. Gemini, we've got Gemini with Mercury. So communication is very good. You're very good at communicating your needs to the people around you, your partner, your friends, your parents, your siblings, whoever, your family members. You could be networking with certain people as well, because see, we've got the 7th house of partnership with your physical material world, and we've also got this networking energy and progress. You could be making a lot of connections that are, like, I'm getting a sense of making personable connections with people that you will collaborate or work with, and learning how to maintain a professional relationship with someone while still being emotionally abundant with them or emotionally involved with them in some sort of way. You could also decide to collaborate with a friend of yours, or like you may decide to actually have some sort of a material career pursuit with someone that you're connected to on an emotional level first, so like a friend or a partner. That could also be a decision that you make. But again, I'm not seeing a lot of waffling energy. I'm not seeing a lot of wishy-washy energy with you. It feels very concise, precise, and to the point. You're like, but it's done with a lot of balance, and it's not done in a way that is too harsh or too blunt or too cold. Like, there is a sense of detachment, but you're definitely not cold in your approach. You're finding ways to be even compassionate in many situations. It's like you're because you're figuring out your habits and your thoughts in such an expertly way, you're also figuring out your communication style. Like, your communication style is evolving in some sort of way. That's the way that I'm picking up on this energy. In your personal relationships, your communication style is evolving. Like, for some reason, I'm getting the energy of someone who's really good at delivering bad news in a way that actually feels compassionate, balanced, and not patronizing. So you may need to deliver some bad news to someone, or deliver a message that maybe would have felt uncomfortable to deliver in the past. So like if you had situations in the past where you had to let someone down gently, or say something to someone that was uncomfortable, or something that made you cringe, it's kind of like you're figuring out how to do these things effectively and in a way that makes both parties comfortable. So that's what I'm seeing for your relationships, your emotional state. And therefore, you're balancing your emotional state through that. You're not avoiding uncomfortable conversations anymore. So another thing that I'm getting is maybe, I don't know if you have Pisces placements as well, because Piscean energy can be very elusive and avoidant if it's not managed properly. And so I wonder if you have Pisces placements, maybe that was your truth or your reality in the past, and you're actually learning how to channel more Piscean energy. So maybe channeling this Pisces energy where it's compassionate and it's caring and it's flexible, but it's not avoidant. So things that you used to avoid in relationships, uncomfortable conversations that you used to avoid in relationships, you're not doing that anymore. Yeah, oh wow. I mean, this is so funny. I just mentioned Pisces. The moon card in tarot is ruled by Pisces, and it's in reverse. And to me, that is letting me know you're becoming a lot less elusive and a lot less avoidant of problems, of difficult conversations. That's actually your spiritual and self-development as well. Like, obviously, these things will be connected. You're not avoiding difficult things anymore. And you're doing it with a lot of joy. You know, it's not, again, like I said, it's not effort that feels, it's not painstaking effort. It's an effort that feels enjoyable. It's like, you know, when you enjoy putting effort into something and it feels productive, and maybe you're finally noticing productivity of all the work that you've put in. I wonder if you did go through a bit of a painful feeling in April because you were establishing these habits, or maybe tearing down your old habits in order to establish new habits, and now you're becoming it's like, oh, I'm starting to enjoy this thing that I hated doing. It's kind of like when you start enjoying a certain type of exercise. You know, you used to hate it, and then you begin doing it more and more, and it begins to be a thing that you actually really enjoy, and then you can't imagine yourself not doing it, you know, that kind of thing. Pluto, transformation. I kind of feel like this is an uncomfortable transformation that has been happening maybe even for a few months, and it was maybe a little bit of a slow burn, and it could have come to a halt, or to kind of like really uncomfortable peak in April, or maybe it's coming up to an uncomfortable peak right now as you're watching this video. But I feel like in May it's where it's leveling out. It kind of feels like you reached your peak of transformation in April at some point, or you're maybe reaching it right now, and then in May you're bringing it down again, where you're integrating new habits, new thought patterns, new ways of thinking, new ways of expressing yourself, new ways of communicating information, communicating uncomfortable things, being more detached and less elusive and less avoidant. But I think May is actually going to be a really nice month for you, Group 1. You're going to be very proud of yourself in this very detached way at the end of May. That's what I'm getting for you. So, and you'll really see the full extent of the transformation that you've gone through at the end of May, it feels like, when you're moving into June almost. So that's what I have for you, Group number 1. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment with your feedback if you feel like it. I'd love to see if it resonated or how it resonated, what you thought. So I'm going to move on. So we're moving on to group number 2. let's get into it. Group number 2. Let's see what is going on in May 2022 for you. We're looking at the general energies first and the general vibe for your month, and then we'll get into the more specific themes. So we have universe, we're all just stardust. Water magic, ground and center, earth element, stability. Again, grounding is quite strong here. Energy, orange. And earth. Oh, earth. Earth element and earth. The world keeps spinning. Completion, fulfillment, success. Completion, fulfillment, and success. So there's a sense of completion and grounding. So some of you may complete a project of some kind in May. You may complete a project or a passion project of yours, or like a work project of yours of some type. There's a sense of like satisfaction. And what is it? Do you get dopamine? Because I'm getting that for some reason. Is it that you get a hit of dopamine when you complete a project? Your brain releases dopamine when you complete a project successfully. I'm almost getting that with the energy because I'm getting this kind of juicy energy with the orange. And at the same time, you're feeling really grounded. So some of you definitely, I'm getting like you're completing something. You're happy with a completion of a project. You're happy with a completion of something that maybe you've even undertaken a long time ago. Maybe you've been doing this project for a while now. Maybe you've been working on something for a while now, and you are very satisfied with this. You're coming to the end and you're finishing something up. It's a really nice feeling of like finishing something up. Like I'm almost getting, for a lot of you, this could even be, some of you could be finishing up like a really important assignment if you're in college or anything like that. Some of you could be finishing up like a really important project in work that you have to present at the end, and maybe it was very stressful for you to get through it, and a lot of work was put into it, and maybe you were very passionate about it turning out really well, and so this is coming to an end in May. You're gonna feel very stable in May. Something about being so firmly on the ground, because the ground and center card is here. We've got the earth element, and we've got earth. The world keeps spinning. Completion, fulfillment, success. There's this grounding in reality. You might feel very grounded in your physical reality. I have a feeling our physical theme is going to be strong here. So your finances, your material world, your body, your physical surroundings. Some of you might feel very grounded in your home. Like you might feel like your home is a very good, inviting space where you feel very stable. I also see a lot of gratitude here. So you could be feeling very grateful for the things that you have in your life, for the opportunities that you have received in your life. Like very strong sense of gratitude, and not just gratitude to the universe, but also gratitude to yourself. It's almost like I'm grateful that I made certain decisions that brought me to this place of stability. And it's like your energy is being revived in the month of May. So if you've been feeling a bit tired, maybe you've been tired because you've been putting so much effort into something, but there's a sense of your energy being revived in the month of May. But it's revived not in this fiery way. It's revived in a very grounded, earthy way. You know, when you feel sturdy, you feel very sturdy, you feel very healthy, you feel, why am I hearing like a healthy calf? I'm getting like a visual of a calf being born, and someone going like, that's a healthy calf. So it's almost like you're reborn in some sort of way, but you're like reborn in a sturdy, um practical way. It's not this like fire spark. It's not like, I'm not getting an ace of wands, I'm getting an ace of pentacles kind of rebirth or a beginning, if that makes sense. Ace of pentacles, very, maybe you might even have a rebirth in your finances that is very stable. For some of you, that's coming through as well. The overall vibe for your month of May is definitely stability, completing projects, completing something successfully, and feeling very grateful for whatever it is that you have in your life, even if it's not a huge surge of energy, even if it's not a huge surge of finances or whatever it is, you're feeling very grateful for what you do have, and you don't feel like you're lacking anything. There's no sense of lack here. I'm not picking up on that at all. So we've got the 10 of Cups for your physical and material reality in the month of May. You're feeling emotionally satisfied. That makes sense with the water magic here. This card always reminds me of the Ace of Cups for some reason. So there's a very strong emotional connection to your physical reality. And I feel like there's a reason for that. Again, like I said, if you're completing a physical project or you're completing something physically in your career or studies, you're emotionally fulfilled because you've completed it. You're feeling emotionally proud of yourself, and there's a lot of gratitude there. So it also feels like maybe if you do have a family, or, you know, your family that you come from, you could feel very happy being in your family's physical presence in the month of May. So feeling very connected to your family from that kind of physical perspective, where you are physically spending a lot of time with them. But there's a sense of coziness here with this group 2. But it's coziness you created yourself. You've brought yourself to a point of coziness, to a point of physical satisfaction and emotional satisfaction. So earth and water are closely related here. I wonder if you have a lot of earth and water in your chart. You know, maybe that's predominantly your chart. Maybe you don't have a lot of air or fire. But your emotional state and your physical state are very content and centered and grounded. I really like this. It's a very calm energy, but it's just so great. The gratitude feeling is very strong here. Okay, let's see what else for the physical, material, financial, career themes. Ooh. Third house. You may pick up new interests. So it's funny because if you're finishing and completing a project, you might become interested in a new project, or get very curious about a new project very quickly. Some of you, if you do work, if your work or your career is project based, that also lets me know that there's like a project after a project. So it kind of feels like you're quite busy in terms of your career, but you're not busy in a way where you're erratic or chaotic or sporadic. You're busy in a very grounded way. You're not taking on more like, you're not biting off more than you can chew. You're not overwhelming yourself with tasks or chores. You're very balanced and steady with the projects that you take on. But it kind of feels like if there's a project that you're finishing up in May, let's say you finish it up in the middle of May, there's a consecutive project happening like right after it, or there's a project lined up right away, and it's like you don't have to spend time wondering like, oh, will there be another project for me to work on, you know, will I have to wait a long time? You already know what you're doing next after this project. Or, you know, if you're finishing up a job, like some of you might be leaving a job, but I feel like if you are leaving a job, you're leaving it on like really good terms, and you're really grateful for the opportunity that you had within this job. You're just leaving onto, you know, maybe something that is a little bit more exciting, challenging, and interesting to you. So again, I'm getting a very pleasant feeling with your group. And it's funny because group 1 was very pleasant as well. So I wonder if we're all about to have a very pleasant May, if there's like collective energy of just pleasant connections, pleasant feelings. But I think your work life, your career life is going to be very pleasant. I think with third house as well being communication, you are getting a lot of communication about your, like, I don't know if it's about your business, about your work. You could be getting a lot of positive communication in your career where you're either getting reinforcement from your bosses or colleagues, or you are getting a lot of interest in your business. So maybe you're receiving a lot of emails from people wanting to collaborate with you, or people wanting to get involved with your business, or maybe clients in general. I am seeing a lot of back and forth communication if it comes to career for a lot of you, but it's pleasant. Again, it's steady, it's pleasant, it's consistent, and you have a lot of energy to work, but you're also not overextending yourself. You're not, like, I wouldn't say you're super massively busy in May, but you're busy enough that you're not getting bored. You're not getting you're busy enough that there's always something to do, but it's not overwhelming, and that's really nice. I really like that. Within your finances, I feel like your finances are quite unchanged. Again, as I said, like, you may get more financial stability. The thing is, you're feeling very financially stable, so you're not worried about money. But I'm not getting any like big influx, of money, or any, like, it's not necessarily about money in the month of May. It's more so about how connected and stable do you feel in your job. How much do you enjoy your work? And I feel like you're going to be enjoying your work a lot in the month of May. If this doesn't resonate, like, it may not be the pile for you. You may want to look at a different group. But for most of you, I feel like whoever picked this group, you really enjoy your job. And if you're not necessarily enjoying your job right now, but you know that you're moving on to a new job or a new career, you're really going to enjoy it. You're like, there's a genuine interest, curiosity, and involvement with whatever you do for a living or whatever you do for money. And that's really nice. So this is your personal relationships, your platonic, romantic, familial relationships, emotional state. You may be dealing with someone who's a little bit emotionally closed off in the month of May. Someone who is not expressing themselves fully emotionally to you. For some of you, this could actually be, for some of you, this will be a partner. For some of you, this will be a father figure. So I'm kind of getting someone who, it's really hard to pull their emotions out of them, but you can tell they have so much to say about their emotions. So you could be dealing with someone like that. You may feel like someone in your life has something going on emotionally, but it's like you can't get them to open up. And that might cause you a little bit of, I'm not seeing you get overly stressed in the month of May. Let me make that clear. But you may feel a little bit worried for someone. It feels more like concerned like you're a concerned friend, or you're a concerned person in this person's life, and you're noticing that this person may be struggling emotionally, but it's like they're not really willing to say much or express much. So one thing that I'm getting is that you're going to be very emotionally patient with this person. A specific person is being highlighted to this group specifically. So for a lot of you, this could be like your partner or a person that you're connected to romantically. I'm getting that. You're trying to get someone to open up, but you're doing it in a patient and a consistent way. And look at that, we've got Earth again. So such strong Earth energy here. You're not pushing this person, but you're trying to help them open up. You're trying to help someone express their emotions here. You're like a concerned friend, or a compassionate friend. You're a concerned partner, compassionate partner who's trying to say, come on, you can tell me, like, it's safe to tell me, it's safe to express your emotions to me. Don't be afraid to say what you mean or what you want to say to me. Like, I'm here for you. You don't have to tell me now, you don't have to tell me even tomorrow or next week, but I'm here for you when you're ready to say what it is that's happening with you emotionally. You know, you could be giving this person emotional advice, even though they might be a little bit kind of like closed off. But again, at the same time, I'm not getting that this person's closed off in a a conflict type of way. They're not having this they're not they don't have any animosity towards you, but it feels like they're finding it very hard to express their emotional state to you. And not just because it's not because of you, but because it's just generally very hard for them to do that. And I feel like if they're going to express themselves to anyone, it's most likely going to be you. But you're being very grounded. You're not expecting too much. Like you're very good at judging people's capacity in terms of is this person actually ready to speak their emotion? Is this person ready for some sort of emotional connection here? I wonder if also something that I'm getting for some of you, this will not be for all of you obviously, but like if especially if you're single, you could be dealing with someone who you're aware is not emotionally ready for a relationship, but you're also noticing that they're like not a bad person. And so you're kind of saying to yourself, let me not have big expectations on this relationship. Let me just, you know, maybe detach myself a little bit from this relationship, but also let me be compassionate toward this person because I see that they're not badly intentioned. They just really struggle with their emotions. Like you're very mature with your approach. You're just so stable, and you're so universally aware, I want to say. Like you're just so aware of how life works. You're just so aware of how people work. Maybe it took you a long time to get to this point, but I feel like in the month of May, you're just, it's almost like you're channeling this Taurus energy because most of May is Taurus season. So maybe you're channeling this Taurus energy very effectively. Maybe you are a Taurus. If you are, happy birthday whenever your birthday is in Taurus season. But you just have this, you have a gentle energy to you in May, and you're very grateful for the people that are in your life. You're very grateful for your opportunities, for how you are working, your career. You're very grateful for it, but in this understated and quiet way. You're not screaming from the rooftops, if that makes sense. Okay, let's look at your spiritual and self-development for the month of May. Ace of Swords, you're gaining a lot of clarity. You're gaining a lot of clarity. Spiritually, you're gaining a lot of clarity. You may even realize that you may have some sort of revelation about your own spiritual being in the month of May. You may realize that I'm almost getting a sense of purpose is being restored or is being clarified. So some of you may feel very connected to your purpose. And again, remember, purpose is not just career. Purpose is not just what you do for a living. Purpose can be compiled of little tiny elements. It doesn't always have to be one big thing. But you're getting very clear on your sense of purpose and where you're moving in the world. Like, what are you moving towards almost? There's this, yeah, you're very clear. There's a lot of clarity. I really like this group. I really like this feeling. The feeling that I'm getting within this group is really nice. I'm also getting a sense of like forgiveness and compassion. So some of you might even, with this King of Cups in reverse, it may even be that this person, whoever this is, like they're difficult for you, or they're kind of, maybe they even created emotional blockages for you in the past, but you're able to see beyond that you're able to forgive them. But it's not necessarily that you're forgiving them and keeping them in your life either. Maybe you're forgiving this person from a distance, if that makes sense. Some of you could be forgiving your father from a distance. That's another thing that I'm picking up on specifically. Maybe you're finding the strength to forgive someone in a very mature and stable way because you've gained clarity on something. Cardinal. Instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. It's kind of interesting because we've got the Ace of Swords, right? You might be a Libra as well. Because we've got air energy here and cardinal energy here, and the cardinal air sign is Libra. it feels like you're after a period of transforming and working through something, you've completed a cycle and you've grounded yourself into a new reality almost. And now you're beginning a new chapter or a new journey. It kind of feels like your May is split into almost two halves. But again, this can be, maybe at the end of May or something like it could be that maybe the end of May, the end of Taurus season, you feel very stable and very happy and very grounded, and you're full of gratitude for everything that you've completed and everything you've gone through and everything that happened for you, not to you. Or you could even be thinking about it both ways, but the sense of gratitude is very strong. And at the end of May, coming into Gemini season, you're like, right, I'm ready. I'm ready to begin my new journey. I'm ready to go for this new project, new job, new life. But I feel like you're going to spend the month of May feeling grateful. And even if you're going through difficult situations, which I'm not getting much of, or at least your perception of them is not negative. Your perception of your life in May is, this is a really nice life. I really like where I am. I'm really happy with how my life has turned out. And even the difficulties that I've gone through, I'm kind of grateful for them. I'm grateful for the perspective that I have because of every single experience that I've had in my life. And I do get, especially for a lot of you, you're grateful for your career or your like creative pursuits, like more physical material pursuits. And the thing is, it's not like it's not like you're getting loads of money all of a sudden. It's not like you're getting huge shifts in anything. You are the shift. You are the shift. But that's all I have for you, group 2. I think that's all. A very stable month, a very steady, stable month with a lot of gratitude, renewed emotional energy, emotional satisfaction, and ability to forgive and forget and move on and just you're gonna feel so centered in yourself and who you are, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback if you feel like sharing. But I'm going to move on. So we're moving on to group number 3. Let's get into it. So group number 3, what is going on with your May 2022? This is going to be your general energies, and then we'll go into more specific themes. So let's get into it. Woo! We've got escapist, come home to yourself. Rebirth and reinvention. Pluto, transformation. Rebirth and reinvention is pretty strong here on transformation. Desire with lettuce. And life laundromat. Choose your own destiny. Choices, destiny, consequences. Be careful not to avoid your transformation in the month of May, because what I'm seeing is that you are very close to achieving something that you have been desiring, something that you've been really wanting, group 3. But in order to get it, you are going to have to go through a transformation in the month of May. And the thing that I'm getting here is that you may feel a little bit tempted, or you may feel like you want to avoid this transformation because it feels scary, or it feels uncomfortable, or it feels like it was scary, like you're fearful of it potentially. But something that you're desiring is very, very close. And your guides are highlighting to me that although it's close, it can only come with you embracing this transformation that you're about to go through. And it may feel scary. This transformation may feel difficult. But it's not as like it's not as scary as it is. It's kind of like, to get over your fears, you have to face them. And so that's, you're going to be facing some sort of fear in the month of May, but once you've faced it, you're going to be so glad that you did. And you will have a choice. That's the thing that I'm getting with group number 3. You will actually have a choice whether you want to face this fear or not, whether you want to go through this transformation or not. If you say no to this fear, or to this transformation, your guides are just gonna let you continue on whatever you were doing. But it's like you will have to then proceed without whatever this desire is. Whatever you're desiring here, you're not gonna get it. But what I'm seeing is that you will have other opportunities to face this fear, basically. So your guides are kind of saying, like, we will bring opportunities to face this fear again if you don't go through with this transformation or facing this fear. But please keep in mind that until you do face this transformation, and like your ultimate fear of this transformation, this desire will not be brought to you. You will not be able to access it fully, or to the full extent, or the full benefit that you could if you did go through the transformation. So avoid escaping, avoid avoiding avoid avoiding your transformation, if you can. But there will be other opportunities to engage with this. It's just that I feel like an opportunity is coming up in May to face a certain fear of yours. And again, I just keep getting, it's not as bad as it seems. It's not as bad as it looks. It's not as scary as it looks. Okay, so let's look at your physical. Oh, we got 2 cards, so I'm just going to take the 2 cards. So for your physical, material world, career, etc., finances. Oh, we've got the 8 of Swords in reverse. Self-limiting beliefs, unraveling yourself from certain self-limiting beliefs, letting go of restrictions that are mental rather. You may think that you have physical restrictions around you in order to go through this transformation, but in reality, they're not physical, they're mental. Page of Pentacles in reverse. This is such a random message. Are some of you thinking of changing your college degree, or something that you do for educational purposes, and you're afraid of changing it? Like, it feels like someone's doing something for education specifically, but I'll get into other options. But I feel like it's like you're studying something and you know you don't like it, or you're not into it as much as you thought you were going to be into it. And instead of changing like your degree or your module or your class, you are sticking to the subject that you know you're not going to have any interest in at the end of the day. And you're thinking that this is a physical, so maybe money is involved, finances are involved. Maybe to change this, you have to like pay extra money. And while that can be true and that can be a part of it, most of this restriction is around your mental state around it. I feel like for a lot of you who, if you are studying, if you are doing a course, and it is a situation where you're kind of like, I'm not into this at all, this is not something that I enjoy, but let me just stick it out. Let me just stick this out. And then once I stick it out, on the other end, I'll see what happens. But I feel like it's like you're delaying the inevitable. Again, you're avoiding a transformation. For some of you, that will resonate, but it's a very specific message, I'm aware. But for some of you, maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a job that you're doing, and it's not that you have a problem with the company or the organization or the general career that you're doing, but you know that you are not interested in the specific role that you're working on or in. And it's time to change your role specifically. But the main point here, it's like you think something is a physical constraint, but it's actually a mental constraint. And you will have to face that. You will have to face the reality that while physical limitations might exist in this situation, in your career, or in something physical, most of it is mental. I'm also getting that around potentially other physical aspects of life. So, like maybe you want to move or you want to change home, and you feel like there's a physical limitation, and while there might be certain physical limitations there, they're only stemming from mental limitations. And in order to get over the physical limitations, you will have to tackle your mental limitations first. That self-imposed mental limitations. Oh, Pisces. Another thing that this could be talking about is that you just need to make a decision on something. You know, the way we've got choices, destiny, and consequences, you need to just make a decision on something. So, in terms of like, let's use the example of college and wanting to change what you're studying, wanting to change what you're doing. Um, it's kind of like you know that you want to change it. You know that that's the desire, I suppose, you know? But you're not deciding that you're going to change, but you're also not necessarily deciding that you're just going to stick to it. You're just in between. And that is creating a very foggy energy and very confusing energy to you. I also feel like with Pisces, I feel like some of you are doing something that you are not enjoying from a point of view. It doesn't resonate on a deeper spiritual and emotional level. And whatever it is you're doing, maybe you got into a degree or a course or a job for the money, or you got into it because it seemed like an okay thing to do at the time. Maybe you thought that it would like whatever you're doing for work or career may not resonate with you very deeply emotionally and spiritually. You're kind of like, this is not actually something that I feel connected to. And I feel like for a lot of you who are in this group, it's really important for you to honor your spiritual pursuits and your creative emotional pursuits when it comes to your career. It kind of feels like someone who always wanted to be like some sort of an artist going and becoming an accountant for practical reasons. Like that's the feeling that I'm getting here. Or, you know, maybe you wanted to study something like something creative, something artistic, but instead you went and studied, I don't know, like marketing or business. And that's the feeling that I'm getting with this group for the physical, for the financial. And it feels like it's time to transform. It's time to make the decision whether you're going to be transforming. And maybe that's why your guides are coming through here and they're saying it's scary and it may be uncomfortable to go through this transformation, but it's not as scary as you imagine it. It's not as scary, even though it may have a certain element of fear, discomfort. You can't escape it. That's what I'm getting. This physical thing that you want to change, you can't escape it. You will have to face it at some point. You will have to do it. But how do you face, or how do you change the physical limitations or break out of the physical limitations? You first break out of your own mental limitations around your physical limitations. It's a layer thing, you know, and I think I don't want to undermine that the physical limitations do exist. I don't want to undermine that because that's obviously the case here as well. But it becomes a lot clearer to us how to break out of a physical limitation and the physical prison that we might be in once we get out of the mental prison. Let's say, like, if you were stuck in a cage, right? And you were sitting in the cage going, oh my God, I'll never get out of this cage. I'm stuck here forever now. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, it's really hard. Like, there's a lock on this. Like, I'm not gonna get out of this physical cage ever. If you were thinking like that, you were putting yourself into a mental cage. You were putting yourself into a cage where your thoughts were telling you that you are trapped. But if you decided or worked through those mental limitations, although the physical limitation still exists, because you're tackling your mental limitation and you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to say to myself, I'm not trapped here. I'm going to figure out how to not be trapped here. And so you decide, okay, my mental limitations, I'm not going to listen to them. Okay, I am trapped here physically, but I am going to figure out how to get out. So, okay, there's a lock on this cage. Okay, what is the cage made out of? What, who's keeping me in this cage? Can I talk to them? Can I talk myself out of it? Can I break the lock? Is it possible that the material that the cage is made out of, like, that I can figure out a way to, like, maybe the structure is faulty or something like that. And so, yes, the physical limitation will still exist, but your mental limitation will, once you get yourself out of your mental limitation, it will allow you to try tackle the physical limitation at least. And so that's what I'm getting for your physical theme, your material world, your career, finances, etc. So it could be also that you're having similar problems with your finances. You think you're financially limited, and while that could be true, you're also limiting yourself mentally to start tackling your financial limitation. So that's what you're addressing in the month of May. Okay, let's move forward into your emotional life, your relationships, the people around you, friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships. King of Swords. Okay, so you could be dealing with a King of Swords type of character. For those of you that are in relationships, your partner may actually help you with these limitations. That's something that I'm getting. Your partner may actually be of great help to make a decision, because King of Swords is very decisive. King of Swords knows what he wants, what's important to him, and how to make a decision as well. So you could actually have some help from someone here. Now, it doesn't have to be your partner specifically. This could be a friend. This could be, most likely this is someone who identifies as male, identifies as a man, most likely. But this is letting me know that someone is available to you to break out of these limitations. Someone is available. Someone wants to be helpful in this very logical kind of a way. This person wants to impart their logical wisdom onto you. That's what I'm hearing. In general, I do feel like your relationships will have a sense of more cut and dry energy. And I feel like the focus is more so on one person. So this one person is very helpful to you, is helping you make decisions, is helping you be more logical in your approach. If you're single, you could be meeting someone like that, and this person could be very decisive about wanting to be in a relationship with you or wanting to date you. It feels like this is someone who's not gonna mess you about. So if you're single, you could be coming across someone like that. Someone who is consistent, maybe not super emotional, doesn't really get very emotional, may not be very lovey-dovey, but it does not mean that this person doesn't have very a vested interest in you, which I do feel like they do. But I'm getting this very helpful energy. So even if you're single and this is someone you're meeting, this person is going to want to be somehow helpful, or like, I want to help you, or I want to give you advice. Third house, very good communicator. So I do feel like there's someone here that you're having really good communication with, conversations with. Someone who definitely, I'm getting strong energy of advice. Like someone wants to give you good advice. Someone wants to, and this person really enjoys talking to you as well. So if you're single and this is someone new you're meeting, you might really have great conversations with this person. I feel like you're intellectually very connected to this person. This person may even feel like you are a real intellectual match for them, and this person feels like they gain a lot from talking to you, even though they're the ones giving you advice. That's the way that I'm picking up on that. So maybe when they give you advice, you counteract that advice with questions, or you explore their advice, and maybe you're saying, oh, I like your advice, what if I did it this way as well? And they almost like how you build on their advice. That's what I'm getting for a lot of you. even if it's a friend, like again, it's likely to be a friend. This can actually be a childhood friend for some of you, or someone you've known for a very long time. Um, if if you're not like in a relationship, or if you're not dating anybody, this can actually be like a long-term friend that you've had, like a childhood friend, because the third house can talk about childhood friend. Or this could even be a sibling, a brother specifically for some of you. So some of you could actually be getting really good advice from your brother, or any sibling, but brother is coming through strongly. um But expect it, if you seek out advice, if you ask for advice, you will get really excellent advice in the month of May around your situation and around your predicament, I almost want to say. But this predicament is not as scary as it seems. And again, at the end of this predicament, when you do face it, when you do go through it, there's a desire that is being fulfilled, like something you've been desiring is being given to you. So for example, if you change your course or your module that you don't enjoy doing, it could be that all of a sudden you're in this new course and your grades are getting better, you are getting better results. You know, your overall enjoyment of your coursework is increasing. If this is a career shift or work move, you're getting better results, maybe even better pay. But you have, in order to get that, you will have to make that change. It feels like you're avoiding making some sort of change, but you can do it. You definitely can. You're capable and you will have help. I keep getting that as a very important side of things. You will have help and you will have advice. Let's look at your spiritual and self-development now. Nine of Swords. Okay, so you could be feeling a little bit anxious. I'm also noticing how she's in bed here as well. And Pisces energy is here in the physical. You might be feeling extra sleepy in the month of May. Like it's almost like you want to sleep all the time. That's the feeling that I'm getting. It's like nighttime here, and you can see the eyes closed as well. It's making me feel like I want to sleep all the time. I want to be asleep. I want to be living in my dream world. I want to be asleep, experiencing my dreams. I don't want to be facing reality. A lot of you might feel like reality is very hard to face. And obviously, maybe it is. And I don't want to undermine that there are real physical constraints that you're also experiencing. But as soon as you focus on your mental constraints, and again, the Nine of Swords talks about mental constraints, talks about mental burdens. Once you can start noticing them and pinpointing them and seeing to yourself, okay, this is one mental constraint that I have. How can I break it? How can I work on it at least? Maybe dissolve it rather than break it. Sometimes we have to slowly dissolve something or slowly crush something rather than break it in half. Once you're able to tackle those, the physical constraints are going to start falling apart somehow as well. By breaking down the mental constraints, you're activating the physical constraints to also break down. Jupiter. Your mindset is growing and expanding in the month of May because of the changes that you're implementing. And Jupiter is also something that Jupiter is an amplifier, right? Jupiter amplifies energy. It's like a multiply sign. Oh, interesting. I've recorded a Saturn and Jupiter video, and this is just something that's coming to me now. I'll have it up. I don't know if I'll have it up before this video or after, but I do have a sun and moon reading, or it's not a reading, it's a video where I just chat about my own perception of the sun and the moon. If you feel like checking it out, but Jupiter, it's like a multiply sign, right? So you may feel like your mental anxieties are multiplied in the month of May, but multiplication, you can also divide them. And so as soon as you tackle one or two, or like one or two, as soon as you tackle one or two anxieties of yours or mental constraints, mental burdens of yours, you're going to divide them in half almost. That's the feeling that I'm getting. There's a lot of spiritual growth that's happening behind the scenes in the month of May. So don't get nervous if you feel like you're not advancing in May, because you are. Um, you just really need to, you know what it is that you need to tackle. It's most likely around a physical, material, career um, situation. Something that's present in your physicality anyway. All you need to do is, there's someone who really wants to give you advice, and you can definitely use this person in a, and I don't mean use it in like a malicious way, but use this person as a resource, and you're encouraged to use this person as a resource. This person wants you to use them as a resource. To avail of this. For some of you, this could actually, if this is a college situation or like a a course or a module situation, this could actually be like your professor or your teacher that wants to help you. Keep that in mind as well. Avail of what's there. It's not as scary as it seems. That's the main thing that I'm getting. But if you don't face it, you will not get your desire. And it's not a punishment, it's just that this desire will not serve you if you haven't faced that fear. And the fear seems to be around, maybe it's like you started something, it wasn't for you, and you're like, let me just stick through it, or let me ignore it, let me just keep going with it and ignore it. But your guys are like, no, you're going to have to face it and like change your module, change your course, change your job. Like if that's something that you have to do, you have to do it. And as soon as you do that, you're getting the desired feeling, the desired emotion that you've been looking for. So yeah, that's all I have for you, group number 3. So I'm going to move on. That's your May. Again, I don't want you to feel too stressed about this, because the main theme that I'm getting with this group is it's not as scary as it seems, and that is a good sign. But you will have to face whatever this is. Okay. So if you like this video, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback if you feel like it. I'd love to hear what this might be if you want to share. But I'm going to move forward. So we're moving on to group number 4. Let's get into it. Group number 4. This is going to be a reading for May 2022. Let's see. This is going to be your general energies, and then we'll get into the more specific themes. But let's see what is the energy around your May. We've got sun. Paint the sun back into your sky. South node. Life step. Debts. Prosperity and abundance. Luck. This might be a very lucky month for you. And we've got broken elevator. Your shadows are showing themselves. Shadow self, fears, negative thoughts. Oh, I'm getting something, because look at how dark it is here. And it says paint the sun back into your sky. And she's like painting the sun into a dark sky, into a shadowy sky. We've got, you're going to have to face your shadows, but we also got luck and prosperity and abundance. What I'm getting with the South node here, I'll connect these cards now. Sorry, I'm just getting a very specific message straight away, group 4. You are getting lucky. You're getting prosperity and abundance in some shape or form in the month of May. But you're going to be perceiving it as something bad for some reason. Like you're getting something really good. You're getting some really good results especially in your career potentially. In general, you are getting lucky, you are becoming prosperous, there's abundance coming in. Things are looking up for you. But you're looking at whatever is happening here, and you're going, "Oh my god, this is disaster. Like, I hate this. This is going to be awful." Um I mean, I don't think you're going to be that dramatic, but maybe you are. Live your best dramatic life if you need to. No judgment. But like, the the feeling I'm getting is the universe or your guides are almost like, what are you talking about? Like, you're actually on a really good path here. You're doing really well. This is a really lucky thing that's happening to you. Oh my god, like, we're actually going to give you everything you wanted. We're giving you a lot of abundance. We're giving you a lot of prosperity. Why are you so nervous? Why are you so scared? That's the feeling that I'm getting. You're getting good results. You're getting good, like, you're in a good place in May, but maybe your past experiences are still influencing the way that you're viewing this new experience. And what I'm getting with the South Node, it's time to leave that in the past. The past is in the past. The old difficulties are not going to repeat themselves. So whatever negativity you're anticipating when receiving this abundance, luck, and prosperity, your guides are saying, we want you to really look at that from the lens of, I'm letting my past inform my future a bit too much. Because, oh my god, look what it says here. Am I good enough? So you might be thinking, am I good enough for this prosperity? Am I good enough for this abundance? Am I good enough for these lucky things to be happening to me? And the answer is yes. And you have to be very careful not to convince yourself that it's a no. I mean, I think you're going to tackle it well. There might be moments where you're freaking out a little bit. Again, your guides are like, why are you freaking out? What, like, why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you freaking out? I am here to give you something really great. So maybe it's a person that's coming in and like offering you a lot of really great things. Because I literally just said I am, so it kind of feels like it could be one person, but that's not necessarily for all of you. But you need to really be careful not to convince yourself that the way things went in the past, that the way things worked out for you in the past, or didn't work out for you in the past, let's say, that's going to be the case with whatever this luck, prosperity, and like good fortune is. Okay, let's look at your physical, material, career, finance situation in May. Two of Cups. You could be partnering up or collaborating with someone on a project. Maybe this is the person that's coming in to give you, like, not necessarily, I don't want to say like, oh, there's a specific person that's coming in and giving you everything. It's not like that. It's just that this person is like a window into it, or this person is very helpful to you. From a physical point of view, you are very taken care of in some sort of way or by someone. Maybe you're going to be taken care of materially. Maybe you're going to be taken care of from the financial point of view. Maybe it's very hard to trust it for you. There is a little bit of like a trust issue that I'm picking up on. It's like, I can see how it's a good thing that's happening to me, but I can't help but have trust issues about it, and I can't help but feel scared about it. Which is fair enough, but I feel like that's where you will need to really connect to. I'm almost getting, you've done shadow work, and it's not that we're ever completely done doing shadow work. Like, shadow work is something that we do throughout our life if we want to maintain our balance. But it kind of feels like you've done your shadow work, but it's almost like you have to brush up on it a little bit when this prosperity and luck comes in. Like the reason that this prosperity, abundance, and luck is coming into your life is because you've done a lot of shadow work, it seems. But it's almost like when it does come in and it's a little bit more obvious and a little bit more in your face, it might just be a little bit of a shock and your shadow side might jump out a little bit again. And there's a need to kind of go, oh, let me just connect to that a little bit more. Your physical, material, career. Yang. Proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion. Your career could really be taking off for some of you here. That's what I'm getting. For some of you, your career could be taking off in a way that you've always wanted it to take off. You've always wanted it to move forward, but it didn't seem to go that way for you. And maybe you kind of, something I'm getting is like for a lot of you, your career will be taking off in a way that you always wanted it to take off, but maybe you did have a certain level of belief that it would take off in that kind of way, but you maybe didn't think it was going to happen so soon. One thing that I'm getting for some of you with career and finances, something is taking off, and it's almost taking off even better than you would have imagined, or even quicker than you would have imagined. It's quick energy that I'm getting here. So some of you may be scrambling to get stuff done, or kind of feeling like you're under pressure to get a lot done in a short period of time, because you were kind of like, oh, I was not waiting for this kind of success, or I was not waiting for this kind of forward motion or this movement at this point in time. Like I thought it was going to take another couple of months or another year, maybe for some of you even. Expect advancements in your physical and your career that are quite significant in the month of May. It kind of feels like something is coming in sooner than expected. Certain opportunities are coming in sooner than expected. And sometimes when things happen sooner than we expected, that can bring us a sense of panic, right? That can bring us a sense of, oh shit, I'm not ready. No, I don't want this anymore. You know, like I'm almost getting that. And be very careful that you're not thinking like that and you're not talking to yourself like that. It's like, no, I don't want this anymore. No, I don't want it. I'm not ready. You are ready. Oh, you're ready. You are ready for whatever this is. It's good to be organized, of course. So if you want to prepare yourself as much as possible, definitely organize as much as you can. But I do feel like your guides are saying, you know, if you're in a little bit of a limbo feeling and you're not really sure, you know, what this opportunity might be, it's okay. You're gonna get everything done. Yes, you may have to move a little bit quicker. Yes, you may have to, maybe once you get this opportunity, you may have to schedule your time very effectively, but you're gonna get it done. You're gonna get it done. Okay, let's look at your emotional connections, your one-to-one relationships. The World card in reverse. You may feel a little bit disconnected from certain people. It might be because you're so busy with your career. It's not necessarily like a bad thing here. It might be that you're feeling a little bit disconnected from certain relationships in your life, or maybe you're feeling like you're not very connected to emotional relationships in general. Like I don't have time for dating. I don't have time for a relationship right now. Like that could be something you're feeling because you're more so focused on your career. And you might almost be more focused on relationships within your career. So like coworkers, collaborators, people you're creating projects with, or whatever this is, you might be more focused on that. And so you may almost feel like there's not a lot of space for personal relationships. You may feel too busy. Like there's too much to do for me to really talk to anyone, to have emotional relationships with anyone. Um, some of you may feel like some people are maybe like too far away from you, like it's too far to travel to certain people. Some of you could have someone moving away or you're moving away. And so you're maybe worried about maintaining these relationships. But that's another thing. Again, just because things are moving quickly and you're having to make a lot of decisions quickly in the month of May, it does not mean that things are falling apart. Things are actually just coming together very quickly. And once you are on the other side of this change, once you're on the other side of kind of like getting used to this abundance, because I'm not even seeing a big transformation. What I'm seeing is more so you're leaving things like in the past. So you're leaving certain, maybe you're leaving certain connections in the past, but only connections you want to leave in the past. Just keep that in mind. um like you're already receiving some sort of prosperity, abundance. Like in May it's set, you're given like the cash, the money, you're given the house or whatever, and all you have to do is just kind of get your things in order, get yourself organized in order to receive it. You've done the transformation already, you've done the work already. And the only job that you have is getting yourself organized and not sabotaging yourself, and not saying to yourself, do I really deserve it? Am I good enough to have this? And, sabotaging yourself through that kind of feeling or that kind of energy, saying to yourself, I'm not good enough to have this prosperity. I don't know if I deserve this. I shouldn't have this. Just be very careful around that. We've got square, a challenging situation, or a mountain to climb. You may feel like your relationships may be challenged, maybe because of your career. For some of you, you might feel like it's very hard to move around your relationships when you're considering your career. Some of you might have a difficult relationship with someone who you're trying to work out a difficult relationship as well. In the month of May, maybe you're working through some issues with someone. Maybe you're working through issues with a partner. If you're in a committed relationship, maybe there's certain issues that need to be considered. But the thing is, I'm not getting an ending here. I'm not getting the world in reverse is like a lack of completion or a lack of ending. One thing that I'm getting, just be careful with, you may feel like you don't get closure somewhere. And so if you are completing a relationship with someone, you're walking away from someone, and this is something that you will know of. This is not like an out of the blue shocker type of thing. It's like if you're closing up a relationship with someone, just make sure that you give them closure and that you give yourself closure, and that you're not, avoidance has been a theme for most of the groups today, and I think that's very interesting that you're not avoiding difficult conversations with whoever this is. Um, or if you're not it might even be that you're not walking away from someone, but a difficult conversation has to happen with someone, and you may feel like, oh, I don't want to do it again. This shadow energy might pop in. Um, I feel like your personal relationships, it's a little bit hard for you to maintain them in May. But again, I'm not saying that, it's 1 month. May is just 1 month. So maybe it is that you have to take time and really focus on your career and what you need to get done in your career in the month of May. But communicate that to the people around you. Say that to the people around you, like, hey, I still love you, I still care about you, you're still my friend, you're still the person, a really important person in my life, but I just can't like get back to you this month. Like, I'm going to be very slow at responding, I'm going to be very slow at replying. let me just take this month to take care of my career and make sure all my ducks are in a row, and then I'll get back to you in June or something like that. Like, you can manage this. I feel like you might get quite busy in the month of May and it might feel quite overwhelming, but you're just being set up for prosperity and receiving money. Like, I feel like you're getting money um to fund something or to make like a really important purchase that you've been trying to, like, or not trying to make, but like thinking of making. Like for some people I'm even getting like a car. So if that resonates, take it, because I do feel like if you've been wanting a new car in the month of May, it could be a real possibility. But again, it's like this money is coming in, and like maybe it's a raise even, or a promotion for some of you. Again, it's like maybe you didn't believe that you were going to get this promotion. All of a sudden you're getting this promotion and you have to get your ducks in a row. You have to get acquainted with the job and everything. And it's just a little bit overwhelming because it's new. It's not because you can't handle it. I keep hearing you can handle anything. Okay, so your spiritual self-development, what is happening there? We've got 8 of Pentacles. It's funny because even in your spiritual development, I'm getting a lot of work. Definitely a more work-oriented month for this group. But I do feel like with the 8 of Pentacles, it also lets me know that you're going to be quite consistent with your... It does make me think of this shadow work feeling. I feel like you are going to be aware when your shadows are showing themselves. And the viewfinder on my camera is currently like really focused on this area. So I feel like this is going to be really important. If you want to avoid this distracted feeling, if you want to avoid, like, especially in your personal relationships, if you want to avoid feeling stuck, connect back to your shadow work. Like if you have like a shadow work journal, for some of you this might resonate. If you have a shadow work journal, have a read over it again or something like that. I'm almost getting that, like, if you had some revelations when you were journaling, maybe have a read over it in the month of May, anytime that you're feeling these feelings of fear and you're struggling to let go. I'm also getting something about your shadows are almost being your shadows are your lucky charm. Your shadows are your lucky charm. Interesting. In many ways, your shadows have been the reason why you're getting all this luck and prosperity and abundance. So in some ways, your shadows are the lucky charm to receive whatever this is. Like, I'm getting that you're receiving something really great. But your shadows can also kind of show themselves as you're receiving it. So if you can read over certain like journal entries or something like that, it's standing out to me for some reason. We've got second house, we've got money, material stuff, resources, possessions. I'm definitely getting that someone's making like a big purchase here in May. Physical security. I feel like the reason that you're getting this prosperity is because you probably did a lot of work around your self-limiting beliefs around money, around career and work, and those shadows will pop up again, but they're only popping up to remind you, like, hey, remember when these shadows and these fears that you had about money, career, remember when they were like really integrated into you and you held them as very serious beliefs? But now these shadows are popping up to show you, like, hey, do you remember when we were around, but now we're not around? But look at you getting stressed again. Don't let that fear to emerge again. And I don't think it's going to, because with the South Node, you are releasing it. One thing that I'll say is that physically you're going to be very comfortable in the month of May. So like, you're going to be taken care of with finances. You're going to be taken care of in terms of your physical comfort. You're going to have enough money for everything and more. but it's like you're afraid that you're not good enough for it, or that you shouldn't be getting this money for some reason. It's like, or again, if it's a promotion or you're getting some sort of great work opportunity, you're like, what if I can't actually do this opportunity? What if I'm not capable? And what if I'm a sham or a scam? Like, you're almost worried about being some sort of a scammer in this situation, and you're thinking that you fooled everyone and now you're getting this money. Don't allow the feeling of guilt to overtake you. And one thing that I'm also seeing is like, try to realize that you don't have to feel guilty for not being available to certain personal relationships in May, because you need to take care of yourself. You need to make sure that you're stable. You need to make sure that you're integrated in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Your own physical comfort is really important in the month of May. And I do feel like some of you may have people reaching out and saying like, oh my God, can you help me with this? Can you do this for me? It's okay to say no, but you need, like, don't avoid, don't kind of say yes and then don't do it. Say no. Say, I need to take care of my own stuff right now. I need to take care of my own problems. But no, not problems, because you don't have any. There's no problems. You just have to get yourself organized, because you're receiving this abundance, and in order for this abundance to be practical and so that you can apply it in the best way possible, being organized in receiving it is really important. But your comfort, your grounding, and your contentment is the most important thing in the month of May. There will be other months where you can be helping people. I wonder if you're someone who's always like at people's beckoning call or something like that. Maybe not anymore, because again, shadow work has been done. Maybe you're someone who is just always very helpful to people and like there for people. And so certain people might expect you to just be available for help, to just be available for assistance to their problems. But I feel like you have things to do for yourself in May, and other people can look after their own issues. But you will need to communicate that very clearly. You will need to say, look, this month, I'm not available for help. I can't help you. I can't be there for you, or I can be there for you in this capacity or to this such an extent. But beyond that, sorry, you will have to look for help somewhere else. I do feel like here, it's like, don't be afraid of people getting mad at you as well. Like don't be afraid of people getting mad at you. And I think a lot of people are not even going to get mad at you if you are communicating something properly. Where they will get mad at you is if you say, oh my God, yes, like I'll help you, sure, like a yes person, and then the time comes and you don't actually have any time because you're busy with your own stuff. So manage what you can and can't do for others, and really make sure that your comfort is taken care of first, and that you're looking after your shadow self, and that you're allowing this prosperity, abundance, and luck to come in, and you're very aware that you're very worthy of it, and that it's yours, and it's something that you should have. It's not a scam. You're not scamming anyone. You're not you're not fooling anyone. This is actually abundance that you deserve. So that's where I'm going to leave you at, group 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did like it, do like, subscribe, and comment, especially with your feedback if you feel like it. I'd love to see how that plays out for you. But I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!